Hey guys, Chelsea here. Now, in this video, I'm actually going to be, it's kind of more like a guide in a way, but it's more for new players. It's basically a few things to take into consideration when you start the game, and basically what to buy, what to not to buy. Now, I'm going to use Normandy as the basis to this. However, you can pretty much combine this with any other campaign. You can do this with Tunisia, you can do this with, you know, with Berlin, you can do this with Moscow. But basically, I'm going to be looking at mostly, stuff, for the early campaign, which these are mistakes people make in the early campaign. Now, I made a couple of these mistakes as well myself. But yeah, the first mistake is essentially just buying weapons you do not need. Now, this mostly comes in the form of either just bad weapons in general, or just weapons that really aren't as effective as you're led to believe. Like, for example, stuff like the stuff like the Maz, stuff like the Mannlicher. If you look in the Ross rifle, stuff like that. Pistols fall under this category as well. I'd say some pistols like the Luger, for example, aren't really as good as the P38 and the PP, or even the C98. And also, stuff like the Mads and the Mannlicher, they're just... You can just use the Car 98. Like, literally, you can just use the Car 98K instead. And you get the exact same benefits, really. Another thing as well is just buying stuff that you don't like. Now, you're given... Every time you unlock something, you're given a copy of that weapon. My recommendation is to use that weapon and see if you like it or not. For example, weapons like the FNAB and the Beretta here, and this Beretta, are very niche weapons. So you need to have, So if you do not enjoy those weapons, you're going to feel a bit stupid if you spend, like, 5... Let's say, for example, you get to level 5, and you think, oh, new SMG, I'm going to buy 4 of these. I'm going to buy a few of these with my limited silver orders. Because you don't get that many silver orders in the early game. So, and you then do this, and then you realise, oh shit, this is actually a really awful weapon, and I just spent... I've got God knows how many silver orders on it. Same goes with, like, snipers, for example. And even some later stuff, like the A4. Now, my advice would be to basically not spend huge amounts of money on this. So, for example, say you have a say you buy the let's say you get, like, I don't know, the Ross rifle, for example, and you spend like 4 silver orders on this. What's the point, really, on that? Because Springfield's just as good, and it's free as well. The Springfield's free, where the Ross rifle costs silver orders, which is why I don't like the Ross rifle at all. As well as that, you got for the same cost, you could have bought a Garand, you could have bought a number 4, you could have even bought a Carbine, which is a different rifle entirely. But yeah, as you can see, stuff like that, which... I know you can do the same thing you say with Moscow and, Tunisia and stuff like that, buying stuff you don't need. As well as that, just buying weapons that really, there's some weapons in this game, like the ZK-383, like the, this Car 98K with the rifle grenades, which aren't actually that good and aren't worth using, in my opinion, because there's better alternatives. Now, the ZK is actually not a bad weapon. It's just it's oversaturated. Like, look at what's before and after it are better SMGs, and obviously assault rifles. Whereas with the Car 98K, there's literally the Schazbecker, which is better than the GGP 40, basically the AT grenades. which is I don't know, like, you know, this that's some things as well as this. You know, if you don't use snipers, don't buy sniper weapons. That's another thing as well. If you don't use a class, don't buy stuff like, for example, as well as this. You know, some of these things you only need you might only need one additional one. So, for example, the mortars, you only need one extra mortar because you can only use mortars in one extra squad. M1 flamethrowers as well, M2 flamethrowers. So that's another thing, you know, planning in advance as well with these weapons. As well as that, you know, just backtracking as well. Like some of these, like the MG34 and the MG42, that's fair enough because, you know, they're about the same. But something like, you know, going back from the MG42 to the Braider or the MG34 to the Braider, it's just a waste. And that's, you know, there's a lot you can say, but basically just plan ahead really, and just, you know, just some, you know, with silver orders, you know, don't spend it stupidly. Like the best things you can grab are stuff like, you know, the Gavir 43 semi-autos really. When you first get the semi-autos, save for the semi-autos, so the Garand and the Gavir 43, because they will give you a lot more firepower in the mid game, and you can use these with pretty much every soldier. And, you know, getting these early, getting the whole squads equipped with these early is really good. Anyways, I hope you guys have enjoyed. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Leave some, you know, what do you guys believe, you know, you should grab early? What you think guys should, you know, some stuff like that. And I'll see you guys in the next video.